What do you do when 32 missiles are already in the air and closing fast? You've got maybe 90 seconds. The USS Abraham Lincoln and its 3 escort destroyers had trained for exactly this. A multi-vector saturation attack from 4 directions simultaneously. So let's walk through it together, second by second, because the way the Aegis system and electronic jamming handled this isn't just impressive. It's the reason the carrier never took a single hit. Here's why that matters and how it actually worked. Here's the thing most people miss about attacking a carrier. Coming at it from one direction is basically a death sentence for your ships. The US destroyers see you coming, they fire, and your attack falls apart before your missiles even get close. So the Iranians didn't do that. 2 Muj-class frigates and 2 smaller corvettes left Bandar Abbas and split up immediately. 1 ship went north, 1 went south, 1 east, 1 west. They spread out until they formed a box around the USS Abraham Lincoln, each ship sitting roughly 40 miles from the carrier. And that 40-mile distance, that's not a random number. Iranian planners picked that gap specifically because it puts each ship right at the edge of where the carrier group feels comfortable engaging targets. More importantly, it gives their missiles just enough flight time so that all 32 of them, launched from 4 completely different directions, can arrive at nearly the same second. That's the whole point. You don't just attack from 4 sides. You time it so the defense has to deal with everything at once. Now let's take a look at those frigates because they matter here. The Muj class isn't some aging rust bucket. These are domestically built Iranian warships, around 1,500 tons, and they carry anti-ship missiles that can fly extremely low, under 15 meters above the water in some configurations. Here's why that's a problem. Radar tracks things by bouncing a signal off them. When a missile is flying that close to the surface, the radar return gets cluttered by the sea itself. It's not invisible, but it's genuinely harder to track and harder to engage cleanly. So on paper, the plan looks like this. All 4 ships launch at the same moment. 32 missiles total coming from north, south, east, and west. The Aegis radar on the US destroyers has to track and engage threats arriving from every direction simultaneously. It's not one clean line of incoming fire that you can focus on. It's a problem coming at you from all sides at once. And then the torpedoes. 16 of them, launched right behind the missiles in time to arrive while the destroyers are still dealing with the missile swarm. The logic is simple. You can't fight 2 completely different threats at full effectiveness at the same time. Missiles come in high and fast. Torpedoes run deep and slow. The sensors and weapons you use against one are not the same ones you use against the other. The geometry is the actual weapon here. If even a few missiles get through from different angles, the carrier has no safe direction to turn. Normally, a ship maneuvers to put threats on one side. You can't do that when threats are coming from everywhere. And the encirclement is also designed to overwhelm decision-making speed. Not just the physical defenses, but the humans and computers managing them. Here's the detail that really stands out, though. Those 4 Iranian ships don't actually need to survive the counterattack for this plan to work. They just need the missiles to get through. The ships are essentially the launch platform and nothing more after that point. On their own, a single Muj-class frigate isn't a serious threat to a carrier group. But as one corner of a 4-point simultaneous launch, it multiplies the problem for defenders in a way one powerful ship never could. So now 32 missiles are in the air, closing fast from 4 directions. The Aegis radar was already tracking all 32 missiles before the Iranian crews even finished their launch sequence. That's not an exaggeration. The 3 US destroyers had been watching all 4 Iranian ships from the moment they left Bandar Abbas. Every course change, every speed adjustment. All of it logged and tracked. So when the missile launches registered on radar, the battle group didn't scramble. They were already at battle stations. This wasn't a surprise attack. It was a race. Here's where the Iranian plan starts showing cracks. To make 32 missiles from 4 different ships hit at the exact same second, you need near-perfect timing coordination across all 4 vessels simultaneously. That means precise communication, precise launch timing, and no mistakes. And in a real combat environment with US jamming already active, that coordination gets messy fast. The defenders don't need to stop all 32 missiles perfectly. They just need to break the timing enough so the missiles don't all arrive together. Because a saturation attack that arrives in waves isn't a saturation attack anymore. The Aegis system starts firing interceptor missiles almost immediately after launch. First successful intercepts happen around 90 seconds in. But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The jamming starts before the interceptors even fire. Let's take a look at what jamming actually does, because it's not just static. Iranian anti-ship missiles use active radar seekers. What that means is the missile sends out its own radar pulse. That pulse bounces off the target ship, and the missile follows that reflection home. Jamming works by flooding those same frequency bands with false signals. So instead of getting a clean reflection back from the carrier, the missile's seeker gets dozens of returns, many of them stronger than the real one. The missile chases a ghost. In a matter of seconds, a missile that was locked onto a 100,000-ton carrier is now flying toward nothing. Decoys work alongside the jamming. They're floating or towed devices that mimic the radar signature and acoustic signature of a large warship. Torpedo seekers hunt by sound. They listen for the noise a big ship makes moving through the water. The decoy makes the same noise, and the torpedo turns toward it instead of the hull. So what you're actually watching during those 90 seconds is a layered system working from the outside in. Long-range interceptors handle the missiles they can reach cleanly at distance. Jamming degrades the guidance on anything that gets closer. And decoys pull in whatever makes it to the inner ring. Each layer doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to thin the attack out enough for the next layer to handle what's left. 2 Iranian missiles did get through the outer layers. Both of them malfunctioned and hit the water short of the carrier. That's not luck. That's what sustained electronic interference actually does to a guidance system. The seeker gets confused, gets pulled in the wrong direction, overcorrects, and the missile loses its solution entirely. The scary missile swarm stops being scary the moment you treat it as a math problem. The attack needed all its pieces to land at once. The defense needed to make sure they didn't. By 10:30, all 4 Iranian ships were sunk or sinking. 8 US sailors had minor injuries, and the FA-18S were already turning toward Bandar Abbas. The outcome here isn't really the point. 2 missiles got close enough that only a guidance malfunction kept the carrier clean. That's the margin. That's what actually happened in a best-case scenario against a well-designed attack. Drop a comment with what surprised you most about how this played out, because the answer is probably not what you'd expect. Bye for now.